Welcome back, everyone, to the Silver Screen Shenanigans podcast. My name is Devin, and the question of the day is, if you had to choose a Halloween movie that is your favorite out of all of them, which would it be? For me, it's an easy. It's the original from the 70s. It's like classic Halloween movie stuff. It's where he gets his iconic Michael Myers gets his iconic look. It's the first slasher movie. It's so everything he does in that movie is so iconic in like pop culture in areas that you wouldn't think. All the stories behind that movie, and just like the music, the atmosphere, and the chase scene and is classic. There are so many shots in that movie that are just perfect. Like for example, like when Laurie's sitting in like the doorway and she thinks Michael's dead, and then he like sits up behind her out of focus, like, ooh, just classic. Or, at the very end when he gets shot like 6 times by Loomis and falls off the deck and then he looks down and he's just gone, and then the movie ends and I'm like, ooh. So yeah, it's easily the first one for me.
Hello, I'm Riley. Thinking about this, I've only seen the 4 that I think we've talked about on the podcast.
The new continuity,
The new continuity. So,
yeah, well, we could.
It's a hard question for me, honestly, because I've only ever seen those 4. So I'm gonna go with one I haven't seen, because that's a good idea. I like Halloween 2020, the H2O 20. Right? Isn't that what you said? It's called Halloween
H2O.
H2O.
Yeah.
The 20 years later or whatever.
Interesting choice. A movie you haven't seen.
Yeah. That'd be my favorite because I haven't seen it. And these ones, for some reason, it's really hard because I don't like scary movies very much, but these ones were pretty good.
Pretty good. So this is, I guess, the final movie, hopefully, in this new continuity of the original Halloween.
Spoilers.
Yeah, spoilers. This continuity is the original Halloween 2018, Halloween Kills, and then Halloween Ends. Like I said, hopefully, because unfortunately, I think this continuity didn't need these other 2 movies. I think the first remake in 2018 could have been a standalone, and it would have been fine.
But he got away again.
So he did in the original.
He's gonna kill people, and then they have opportunity to make more.
That's spooky. He's just out on the loose. Or what they could have did is just cut out Halloween Kills, and then just done a sequel where like he died in that one.
Yeah.
Because Halloween Kills is so unnecessary. But yeah, we've already talked about that one. So Halloween Ends. Yeah, this marks the final like chapter in like the Laurie Strode and like Michael Myers
This is after
40-year story.
40 years. That's insane.
Yeah.
To do something for 40 years.
It opens with, on Halloween night, obviously.
This is either 1 year or 2 years after Michael broke out and they all beat up Michael. So he's still out there and people are making jokes like, oh, look out, Michael's going to get you.
Right.
So everybody has that fear in their head.
Right.
But
because I think Halloween Kills is fairly recent.
Yeah.
So yeah, babysitter comes over named Corey. He used to cut this like rich family's lawn, and they don't have a babysitter. So he's looking after this little kid. This is the worst kid in the world.
He's a brat.
Dude, he is cursing, making fun of this babysitter. He hates him because basically he's like a guy, not a girl, which, I mean, fair enough.
Yeah.
I don't want a guy babysitter. But so
they start watching the mom was like, do not let him watch a scary movie.
Yeah, they're watching.
He needs to be in bed by 9, all of this stuff.
They're watching.
Breaks every single rule immediately.
I think I think John Carpenter directed that movie too.
It looked terrifying.
You never watched The Thing?
No, I don't watch scary movies.
We should watch The Thing. Let's see, is it?
But they're watching this movie, and they were supposed to be making
that's
paper
pretty cool.
airplanes.
It's a nod to John Carpenter because he directed the remake of The Thing, which is pretty cool. But yeah,
Nice.
The Thing is a classic horror movie.
Cool.
Um,
So they were supposed to be making paper airplanes.
he didn't want to do any of that.
He was so bored. He was done. So Corey, right?
Yes.
Okay, I'm awful with names. Every single movie.
He doesn't matter. He's such a lame
It
character.
kind of matters.
Lame. He's
He's
so
like one of the
lame,
main characters in this movie.
unfortunately.
So Corey goes to get himself a glass of milk.
Something like that.
No, he got a beer or something.
Yeah, I did get a beer. Got a Heineken.
And a piece of zucchini loaf, I think.
Something like that.
It doesn't matter.
Because the mom was making.
He left the room is the biggest issue. He left the room. The kid immediately saw his chance.
Gone.
And when Corey came back, the kid was gone. Front door was open. So Corey started freaking out because all of the Michael stuff had just ended. So he was thinking, oh no, this kid's gone.
I mean, honestly, that's where my head went. I was like, oh.
Michael's in the house
Michael's
already.
this is like after Halloween. This is like maybe like a few hours or like a day after Halloween Kills or something like that. And I'm like, oh, Michael's already, like, he's still going. Like, he's.
I was hoping for like a continuation.
Which would have been way cooler.
Yeah. I wish it was a continuation instead of a jump cut.
Yes.
Or not a jump cut, but like a jump movie.
Yeah.
So Corey starts looking all over the house for this kid.
Which fair enough, because like, you don't want to lose a kid that you're babysitting.
And the entire time the kid's been like, "Oh, you're scared of Michael. You're scared of Michael. He's gonna come get you."
Yeah, I am too, kid.
I would be terrified. So Corey grabs a knife. First thing, kind of an issue. Grabs a knife. Because if the kid jump scares him, he's going to stab a kid. That's my mind the entire time we were watching this is if this kid jump scares him, he's going to get stabbed on accident.
Jeez.
You scared me. So they were playing hide and seek. The kid was anyway. Corey went upstairs into the attic.
Yeah, because the kid was making noise, and he drew Corey up there.
Yeah. Corey was terrified. Dude, I would have been too.
Thinks Michael's in the house, and he's in a spooky place, dark, spooky place of the house.
Yeah.
The attic. This is a spooky place of the house, any house.
And it's at night, too, so there's, no light. Yeah, so he goes upstairs into the attic. The kid
locks the door.
Kid runs out and locks the door behind him. So Corey is stuck in the attic.
Freaking out
because he believes that Michael could be in the house at this very moment because the front door was open. Was it the window too, or just the front door? Okay. The front door was open, so he's like, oh, this guy is in the house. I am so dead. So he starts trying to bust the door down.
He's kicking the door.
And he's yelling the whole time, I'll kill you, kid. I'll get you. Like all this as the parents get home.
Ooh.
Probably shouldn't be yelling, I'll kill you to the kid you're supposed to be babysitting.
So yeah, they walk in, and they're like, there's a bunch of ruckus and banging going on. They're like, well, what is going on?
And then the door busts open.
Yeah, does the kid, let go or something? I don't know. Or does he finally just kick the door open?
I think he kicks the door open.
Slams, hits the kid in the face. The kid falls over the guardrail of, this 4 or 5 story house.
I think it's a 4-story or a 3-story because there's bottom floor, second floor, and then attic is where they were. So I think it was 3 stories.
He falls all of those.
Yeah.
Snaps his neck, hits the ground, and the kid dies.
Right in front of the parents. As they get home, right in front of the parents.
I'm like, wow. Yeah, this is unusual. I don't know. I'd have to watch all the movies again. Maybe it's happened, but I can't remember the last time that the first kill wasn't Michael in a Halloween movie.
That was insane.
It was shocking. And then it cuts to outside, and it's not a 4-story house.
It's a 2-story, but I believe that it's supposed to look like a 3-story inside because of the attic floor.
And all those stairways, and I'm like, that's not in that house. That's not in that house. So then, the music kicks in. The parents look up to Corey, and he's like, what did you do? What did you do?
And the next thing we see is Corey being led off with what's her name? The lady. The main lady from this entire movie series.
Laurie Strode?
Thank you. Laurie was outside when he was being taken away by police.
Right.
Because every single time they kept showing extra things, like
Right.
all these people were scared that Michael was there.
Yeah, some people just were regular murderers. Other times it was just hanging themselves. Because they're scared of the boogeyman.
She was there at every single one because
she feels responsible.
Yeah, I mean, she's kind of responsible for it. She feels like she should have killed him when she had the chance or something.
Yeah. So yeah, then we cut 4 years later, and we get like a renaissance for Laurie Strode. She buys a house. She takes in Allison. Allison is working as a nurse in Haddonfield.
For those who don't remember, Allison is her granddaughter.
Yes.
So.
Because in the last movie, so in the first movie, Allison's dad died.
Yeah.
And then in the second movie, Allison's mom died, so she has no family anymore except for Laurie. So Laurie takes it upon herself to get a nice house, be the grandma, and kind of just
try to let it go.
Yeah, she's trying to let this go after 40
years.
40 years, yeah. 40 years. And it's tough.
I think it's definitely difficult because for the last 20, she's been training to kill him.
Yeah.
So.
And she failed.
Yeah.
So she's trying to do the best she can for what's her name? Allison. But the other thing I think that's interesting too is like when Halloween comes around again, like initially Allison's is like not a part of it. This is my first problem with this movie. I guess first kind of thing what happens is Corey is harassed at a gas station because of these like high school like
band kids.
Yeah.
The mean band kids.
Which when does that happen?
I had those. I got picked on by band kids.
Yeah, but like a band kid making fun of a 21-year-old
who murdered somebody.
Yeah. Nah. So yeah, they're
asking him to go in and buy booze.
Yeah, and he's like,
says, no. So they're yelling at him about murdering this kid.
And he like freaks out and breaks a glass bottle in his hand.
Squeezes it because they were yelling at him about.
And he was like tweaking out and like, he's getting angry.
Then they push him down.
Yeah.
And he cuts his hand.
And Laurie's like, "Get out of here, you kids, you dirty rats." The old grandma. So they leave. And Laurie kind of makes a funny joke about like she's the freak and
he's the psycho.
Yeah, or something like that. And they slash the kids' tires.
Yeah.
And then they leave.
She gives him a knife to cut their tires.
So they kind of form this little bond.
And she takes him to
Allison
at the doctor's office.
Yeah. And this is my first problem with this movie already. As soon as Allison sees this guy, she's like enamored with him. She just can't get her eyes off him. She's like, "Oh man, he's cute." Why? I don't understand. Like this guy, what?
Well, she did date like a 40-year-old cop before that. So
I don't know. Did she?
Yeah.
Or should you just call him?
She went on a couple dates, maybe. I don't know.
I don't know.
He continuously harassed her throughout
I don't know.
this whole movie.
Seems like it seems like that type of guy where she didn't really do much. Like they maybe talked like once or twice, and he's just like, "Yeah, we went on a couple dates." But yeah, they go to the hospital. He gets stitched up. Yeah, they have this weird connection.
It to me it is weird. It's very quick.
Yeah, very forced. And we meet like Allison's like
boss
and
friends.
coworker, and I'm like, oh my god, they're both so terrible, like just terrible person. Like the doctor and her fellow nurse are just so terrible.
The doctor is like yelling at her to do all this stuff while he's like congratulating the other nurse.
Yeah, she got a promotion or whatever. Okay, what happens?
We'll find out
after
why
that?
though later.
Yeah.
So after this, he gets all cleaned up,
Right.
and is he then walking home or?
I guess that's the other thing we don't mention. He's working at like a scrapyard.
That's where he goes, right? Yeah. So he goes
his
to his
dad.
family's scrapyard. They don't explain that very well.
No, that
It's
he's his
just
dad.
when it starts, it's just a scrapyard,
Right.
and he's talking to some guy who gives him a motorbike instead of a bicycle
Right.
to get around.
We infer it later, but yeah, it doesn't make a mention that like they don't say like thanks dad or anything like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, he has a motorbike now.
Yeah.
He's gonna take
So
Allison.
fast.
He's gonna take Allison out. That's
Yeah.
pretty cool. But and this is where I get confused because I don't remember exactly when this happens. Oh, okay. Right. So he's getting a little confidence. He's gonna take Allison out. They go to this party and they have drinks, they have funsies, and parties are never that interesting to watch in movies. Like I don't know if it's just me, but like people dancing
There's
and
a lot
like
of strobe
raving,
lights
and I'm like, it's not that interesting to watch.
I thought he was having a seizure.
Yeah,
He
when he's
started,
on the
like,
ground.
shaking on the ground. Turns out he was dancing, I guess.
Dancing.
I
What
thought
is
he was- I straight up thought he was having a seizure. I was like, this is how he dies.
Yeah.
This is his death story.
Yeah. And then he runs into the mom of the kid that he killed like a couple years ago.
Yeah.
That'd be awkward.
Like 2 or 3 years have gone by. That's still a fresh wound in my head.
Oh yeah. And she's like, "You don't get to be happy. You don't get to be sorry. Me.
Every day I wake up without my son.
Yeah, and the bartender like takes her away, and like it's a tough deal, that situation, because like I understand that she's like grieving and such, but also at the same time it was a complete accident.
100% an accident, and it was a kid's fault.
And
Not to blame the victim or anything, but
I'm
he
gonna blame.
He locked him in the door in the closet and then stood behind the door.
Not to blame the victim. I'm gonna blame the victim. But also I think Corey was sorry, and he's eventually
without a doubt.
and eventually he's got to live his own life eventually.
Yeah.
And so
this brings us to like
they go outside and they get into an argument about like, you're not my pet to take care of, Alice.
well,
Me.
Yeah, he was yelling at her because he goes, I don't get to have fun. I've made mistakes. I don't get to have fun anymore.
And she's like, me and you are the same. We've both been through, trauma. It's like, you're the survivor. I'm the killer.
There's a difference.
And he storms off. And I'm like, Allison, ditch this guy. You don't need him. But I feel like it's the deal where it's like, I can fix him. I see the goodness in him. I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know. I think he was good at this point. In my head, I don't know anymore. This is why I say this, because
yeah, as he's storming off, he runs into like the
band kids again.
The band kids. I want to call them so many names, but I can't. But it seems like the leader of the group, I guess. I don't remember any of their names because I don't care.
Yeah.
It seems like the leader of the dude is the instigator of all this like stuff, and the rest of the kids are like, "What are you doing?"
Well, then there's the drum kid, because that guy he was
like
mean.
Yeah, he was also there, but I feel like the two girls was like, "What are we doing?" At least one of the girls.
One girl didn't deserve anything she got.
Yeah, she was like, "What are you doing? You're crazy." Anyway, so they get into a scuffle. Corey gets thrown over this bridge. He's like
thrown off a bridge.
On like this overpass they're on, and they're like, "Oh my god, we killed him." So they just leave. Okay. So then he like gets dragged off into a sewer tunnel, and this old man's just like watching the whole time, like, "Whoa, that's kind of crazy."
That is the craziest thing to me, is he just gets dragged into the sewers. Like
we know who it is.
This is an It movie. I mean, this is no longer Friday the 13th. What is it? No, what movie is this? What movie did we go see?
Halloween. We know who it is, but I did think it was pretty cool that they kept it off screen.
Yeah.
Until the reveal. So yeah, he like gets up and starts walking around like this sewer, and then a hand comes out and starts like choking him. Yeah, Michael Myers. Problem number 2. This is like 40 minutes into the movie, and Michael Myers just now shows up in the 3rd movie.
Yeah, I was.
What is going on?
It was weird. Because also, another thing that has been super confusing to me is Corey then gets out.
Yes. Well, he gets like a vision, and you can see it in his eyeball.
He sees everything that he regrets.
Yes.
And that changes him.
Yes.
This part, I thought maybe he got possessed.
I think so. I think so.
By what? Evil? Just possessed by evil?
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
So yeah, he gets out, and he's different.
He gets out.
He's different.
Completely a different person.
Like, he's edgy. He's like hunched over. He's like,
And then the homeless guy who saw him get dragged in there,
right,
jumps him. Not like
he's like freaking out. Like, he's like, how did you get out of there? Nobody gets out of there.
This is why I'm confused, because Michael, it seems to us, because later in the movie he does kill somebody and get his powers back, it seems. This homeless guy's been saying that he's been taking people in there.
Yeah. So have they just been escaping?
Not been getting, and then he said he was the only person who's ever come out.
So yeah, that's what I'm weird.
It just doesn't make sense to me.
It's, bad continuity. Anyways, Corey kills the homeless man.
Oh yeah, on accident. I mean, he didn't mean to.
Yeah, because the homeless man had the knife, right? I think.
No, Corey had the knife. It was the knife he slashed the tires with. But he freaked out.
The old man had the knife, and he pointed it at Corey. And like they fall to the ground, and it in the wrestle, like Corey's like, oh crap, I just stabbed this guy.
Okay.
And he gets up and leaves. He's like, I'm gonna go talk to Allison. This is a good.
This is a good time to go talk to somebody.
She's like, can we go on a walk, Allison? But what?
He immediately
for all the bad stuff of this movie that's terrible, I think this part is pretty cool. When Lori sees him like outside of the house and then like looks into his eyes, and she's like, oh no.
She immediately notices something is off with this kid.
And I do like it because we'll get a little bit later. It's a callback to like Dr. Loomis's like very cool monologue of the first one of talking about like the devil's eyes, the darkest eyes of like evil in a person. But yeah,
they also did the jump scare thing where she looks out, he's there, looks away, looks back, gone.
So yeah, him and Allison go on a little talk. They go to the house that the little kid died in.
That is so weird.
So weird.
And then doesn't he lay on the ground where the kid?
He eventually does, yeah.
That's weird.
So yeah, I don't know. I don't understand this like obsession with like. Oh, I get why Corey is, but like Allison, why is she so obsessed with this dude who's like talking about death and stuff like that, and how like I'm different and I'm angsty and I'm edgy.
I'm so cool now. I just saw this crazy guy in the sewers.
Something's happening to me. I'm like, die. I want to kill people. I'm like, Allison, call the cops.
Let's burn the whole world down.
Yeah, they get like they start talking. They're riding the motorcycle around. They like they're having cool smoochy times, and they talk about like hating Haddonfield and like getting out of here and leaving the stuff behind, which I'm like, okay, fair enough, because like they both have like severe trauma in Haddonfield,
right?
And this is when we kind of get the slow turn on like Lori, not only Allison kind of turning on Lori, but like the whole town. Because she starts to meet people who are like blame her for like all the death and like the stuff of Michael Myers, and Allison starts to reject Lori because she's like, you kept me here and like you're trying to keep me away from him and blah 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 blah, and like everybody's blaming Lori, and I'm like, how is it Lori's fault?
We got to see the neighbor from Halloween Kills.
Yes.
I think. Yeah, the one with the house burnt down. Okay.
Next door.
Yeah,
who got stabbed in the neck.
Got stabbed in the neck.
Yeah.
Now she can't talk.
Yeah, she's alive. Good for her.
Absolutely. Her sister's really wheeling her around, yelling at Lori about it.
Yeah. Yeah, because they're all like, you triggered Michael. You triggered a like they say something about like you triggered like a mentally ill patient. I'm like, there's mentally ill patient.
he was gonna get fined in one way or the other.
He's evil incarnate. What are you talking about?
It wasn't triggered. What was the word? It was provoked.
Yeah, I'm like, he's evil incarnate.
He was gonna do it one way or the other.
So yeah, all that stuff happens, and then I can't remember.
This is when they then go to the diner, right?
Yes.
They go to the diner.
And they're talking about
ex-boyfriend.
They're talking about, I don't know,
police officer.
At least, I mean, he thinks.
I thought so. I mean, I think.
I don't know. I don't think it's.
I don't know.
If like they actually.
Guy she went on a couple dates with.
I don't know if they actually ever went out. I think it's all in that guy's head. But
this is where they start like.
Yeah, they're talking about like the evil stuff and like Haddonfield and like
Yeah, and then Corey shows her his special place up at the top of the. Right? Is that what? I feel like that's what he would call it. He goes,
special.
I want to show you.
Well, he freaks out at the diner first.
Yeah.
Like
I mean,
he's like, leave her alone. She's mine. I'm like, okay, cool. I don't care. I don't care. Skip to the. Yeah, they go to. Where do they go? Oh, they go to above the DJs.
Radio tower.
Yeah.
I don't know what radio station.
And this guy's been playing the entire time though, and he's super annoying.
Every time you hear a radio station, it's this guy and his voice. And he doesn't stop talking the whole time.
But here, they like start to think of the idea of like leaving right now.
Yeah.
So they like jump off the roof.
Yeah. Corey is unhinged.
Yeah. And he has he gone back to Michael yet?
After this.
After this? Okay.
Yeah.
And so then the DJ guy comes out and tells him to get the F off my property.
Yeah.
And like so they leave on the motorbike and Allison goes to get packed.
He takes her home.
And then he goes back to Michael.
And he goes back to Michael and the cop follows him.
Yeah, who he embarrassed at the diner or whatever. And he
follows him down into the sewers.
They scuffle. They go into the sewer. And problem number 3. Michael can't even take out this guy. He gets knocked to the ground. Remember when he was scary in the first remake and he was stomping guys' heads in? He can't take out one. He got knocked to the ground immediately. And I'm like, this is so lame. I hate this. Nobody should ever win in a hand-to-hand fight against Michael Myers.
My only thought is that after all of it, like people stopped being scared of him, so that caused him to lose his power over them, and that was like
don't show that.
Yeah,
don't show that at all.
Also, if he's been killing people, why is he not as strong as he was before?
Yeah.
And why does this one matter?
So anyway, Corey helps Michael kill this guy, and then Michael like gets his powers back, and like he does like this weird shaking thing. I'm like, what is he doing? What is going on? So yeah, he's just like, show me how to get your powers.
I know, yeah. Corey goes, show me how.
Then
show me how.
Mistake number 4. He like they get into a scuffle, Michael and Corey, and he takes his mask.
Is that this time?
I don't know.
No, because this time they then go to the doctor's house.
The doctor's house. Yeah.
Right?
Oh, right.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he's like, show me how. And we figure out why she's getting all those promotions earlier in the movie. Because they having relations.
Does Corey sleep at her house already? Because I know that's where he gets the mask.
Oh, yeah, they've already...
Okay, yeah.
They've already...
Yeah.
Yeah, I've already done that.
So that's where he got his mask from, was because he dressed up as a scarecrow for that
for the
Halloween
dance.
party dance thing.
Sorry if this is discombobulated. We don't care.
This movie was...
It's so bad, I don't care.
It was the end that we needed, but like it could have been done a different way.
Yeah, you could have cut out all the Corey stuff. You could have just had the fight with Lori and Michael. Like, you could have had like a half-hour movie where they had the fight with the Strode girls and Michael.
Just give us like a 10-minute episode.
Exactly. It did not need to be a full-length movie.
I A 2-hour movie.
Because
like
the
that.
beginning of this movie and the end of this movie have nothing to do with like the middle of this.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So, right, they go to the doctor's house and he's already dead. Corey kills him, and he's like, the girl sees him, and Corey's just like, he's just like stabbing.
Did
like,
you see him in the background?
Yes,
The background,
yes,
I was
yes.
like, oh, there's somebody back there stabbing or doing something.
Yeah. She screams and runs away and like closes the door, and I don't
She
think
locks it behind her.
I don't think he has the strength. I don't think he has the Michael Myers strength here, because
No.
Michael would have just like kicked that glass door in and like,
banging on it. And
yeah, like an angry like guy like, let me in, please let me in.
And this is
Who comes out of the closet?
So
Woo!
cruel.
He like Michael kicks the door in, grabs her, and does like the classic deal. I mean, we've already seen it like
He chokes
100
her, holds her
times.
up,
We've
and
seen this 100 times, but it's still cool every time. Chokes her, like pulls her up, and then like stabs her to the wall with the knife,
pins her to the
and
wall.
then does
That's so cool.
the head tilt, and I'm like, ooh, that's classic.
He was probably an artist. I mean,
Who, Michael?
yeah.
Oh yeah, with
He's
dead bodies.
admiring his art. Sure. At the
Oh yeah, no, he was the first like serial killer to like put his bodies around like places for like later people to like find them. So yeah.
probably not the first. I mean, in movies maybe.
Oh yeah, yeah. So yeah, Corey's like, wow, that's so cool.
I want to be like you.
I don't know. At some point, he gets the mask, right?
Yeah. So then.
And then I guess him and Allison have a talk. Like, something's happening to me. I'm being a killer.
Yeah.
And he goes back home frequently throughout this movie too.
Yeah.
And his mom is like evil.
She's abusive, but also loves him too much.
Well, I think it's like it's super
That's
toxic, because she's like abusive, but then she's
bipolar-
like, "Oh, I'm sorry that I just smacked you." I'm like, and then she leaves, and it is like the only time I did laugh in this movie is when the mom leaves and Corey looks at his dad, and his dad goes, "I really hope you find love." He's so depressed.
There are some good jokes in this, like oh man, never mind. I can't think of one, but that was a very good joke.
Yeah, I don't.
And he goes,
somehow
"Don't tell your mom about the bike."
Somehow eventually, I don't know. It would make more sense if like he didn't have his powers yet. But like I don't know if Michael has his powers yet. But anyways, Corey wrestles him to the ground and takes his mask off.
Yeah.
Strike number 4.
But the whole time, Lori has been going to people's houses,
Right.
like asking about Corey.
Yes.
Because she's worried for her granddaughter, which completely makes sense after all of her years
of dealing with Michael.
Yeah.
And she's
she
right.
Thinks she sees him. And
She's right, because she has the evil in him.
yeah. She talks to the dad of the boy that died, and he was going to
At the
go.
bar.
Yeah.
Forgive him.
He was going to go forgive him.
I think.
But-
I think the wife and the.
Dad split out.
I think they're. Yeah.
because they one realized it was an accident and
And the other couldn't let it go.
missed his kid, but it was an accident, and the other just thought it was murder.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, he
But-
finds him.
He was gonna drive up because he saw him walking one day. He was gonna drive and like.
He was gonna forgive him. He was
Yeah.
gonna talk to him and just be like, "Hey, like obviously it was a horrible mistake, but like you're forgiven, and it's it's like it's not okay, but like come to some peace for yourself."
Yeah. But
He looks into his eyes.
he looks at him, and they're the kid that didn't mean to.
Yeah,
is no longer
he
there.
says a line where he's like, "The Corey I knew, obviously was an accident, but this kid, that was probably murder."
That's the thing.
The devil's eyes, the darkest eyes. He's
people-
changed.
Well, they were like, this town has done this to him. He was a good kid before, and then nobody let it go.
Yeah, that's his mom's theory.
Yeah.
That he was a good kid, but everybody kind of made him the murderer. Nah, Michael. Michael did that. Because yeah, Corey's racking up kills.
Yeah.
He puts on the mask and he's racking up kills. He's killed the homeless man. He killed the kid in the beginning. He
We'll count that.
killed the homeless man.
And then he
with the mask
goes-
on, he kills the DJ. Right? He
Yes, he cuts the DJ's tongue off.
It is kind of a fun. I think this is kind of a fun kill, where he kills the receptionist in the background, which is not cool.
It's expected. Otherwise, she'd call the cops.
Yeah. Slams the DJ's head into like his desk like multiple times, and then like reaches his head up, his jaw's like broken and his tongue's out. He cuts his tongue off, and his tongue
lands on the spinner,
the record player.
Yeah,
and it, as it goes around, it goes doop, doop. And like it eventually like falls off, and I'm like, okay, that's kind of like a humor kill.
But like,
oh, excuse me.
Then everybody listens to that radio station, so you can hear it on every single radio.
Doesn't like it eventually like falls off, right? The
actual like pin picks up, and because it's
falls off because it hits the tongue. So then he goes
to his house.
I thought this is what happens at the junkyard.
No, he goes to his house first. He kills his mom.
That's right, in the Michael Myers outfit, yeah. And this is another indication of how gosh darn depressed the dad is. Instead of going home, he's staying at work and watching like I can't remember what movies he's watching, but he doesn't want to go home.
Well, doesn't he? He scratches
scratches up the band kid's car.
Yeah, he scratches his car and then he drives to the lot. Right. So the band kid's chasing him down the whole time.
And the first kid gets like a spike or something in his mouth. Because like
drumstick.
The plan is they're gonna hook up a chain to their car to Corey's bike and drag it until it falls apart. And they're like, "Go ahead, pull it, go." He's like, and this kid's just like sitting with his head down in the car.
I think this drumstick was
it a drumstick?
Through his head. Yeah,
very cool to be.
This, I believe he has the power, like the strength of Michael now.
I don't know,
but
as he kills, he gets stronger. Maybe. Yeah.
I think that's the only reason. That's the only thing I can think of.
Maybe.
Which is also why maybe Michael couldn't get his powers back until that last kill, because he was slowly getting them, but that last kill got him there.
It's too confusing.
It is. And he didn't have his mask. Michael didn't until he put it on, I guess. Or I don't know. Who knows? Honestly, it doesn't make any sense.
So they're like freaking out because their buddy's dead, and so. And then like this car turns on, the lights turn on, the engine starts revving. They get out of Dodge, and
the two girls start running.
Right, and two of them get over the fence, right?
Yes.
Except for like the huskier girl with the big hair. She has like
this was the good girl.
Yeah, she was
the nice.
She has like 80s hair too. Did you notice how like big and like poofy her hair was?
This was the nice one.
She's like caught on the fence of
on the opposite side.
No, I was wrong. The leader of this gang or whatever runs inside to get like the dad. Yeah. The other two people are running away. It's another girl and the leader of this gang. They hop the fence, and so there's one girl. She's hanging on the fence. She can't get over, and I thought she was dead.
She did get over though. I think she was on the other side.
Oh, that's right.
She got pinned.
And Corey hits the gate, and like the car and the gate land on top of her, and I'm like, she's still alive. Good for her,
dude. That was honestly the smartest play he could have done.
To trap
pinning her underneath there. Yeah, because she calls everybody to him.
Yeah. That's right. And then the other girl, like she get. She's like he's behind you, and he like has a pipe or something, and he just clocks her, and like
it was a wrench, I think. But yeah,
the dad comes out.
The band kid gets a gun,
and you can tell immediately this kid has never held a gun before.
But he has though. He was aiming for Corey.
No, like you remember how he gives him the gun, and you see how he's holding it. He's like, this guy has never held a gun before.
He did aim down the sights, and he would have got a headshot on Corey. But the dad stepped in the way and got hit in the head instead.
It's goofy.
So Corey's dad's dead.
Right.
Probably the only person he actually liked. And
that's true. The dad never knew that it was Corey under the mask.
Yes, he did.
When
they were yelling that it was his son. And that's why he stepped in front of the gun, I think.
That's very possible. I don't remember.
I'm pretty sure. Otherwise, I think he would have been okay with him shooting Michael.
Corey's dad's dead, and so that kid with the gun walks up, sees one of his
friends stuck under the gate,
and the other one that has her head bashed in, and he's like, where is he? We see somewhere else that Corey has lit up an acetylene torch. I'm pretty sure is what it's called. Was it used for welding?
This is the most gruesome death.
I think it's one of the wildest kills in all of like the Halloween movies. He pins this kid to the ground and he sticks the torch while it's lit in this kid's mouth, and like you can see his like head light up because it's all red from the blood and everything, and like the flames start coming out of his eyes, and it's like, and he's alive as this is happening, and I'm like, wow.
That has to be the worst death. I haven't seen every single movie. I haven't seen
it's up
any
there.
of the movies, but
it's up there.
That's a
It's got nothing on the kill where Michael grabs a shotgun and rams it through some lady's stomach, though. It's got nothing on.
Did you even shoot her?
No. It's so silly. And then she just, and this is where maybe you're right, because this is like a Michael like strength type of kill.
Yeah.
Where he stomps this girl and completely destroys like her skull.
Her head explodes.
And like not something a normal man could do. So yeah. Corey's racking up
Everybody's
some kills.
dead.
A lot of people are dead.
And then he gets in the big truck and drives away.
Yep. And he has one destination. So, and then it cuts to Lori. And I'm like, this is another part that doesn't make any sense to me. So Allison already left. She was packing and went to leave. And she's like, you're not keeping me here in Haddonfield. I'm leaving.
Allison went to the meeting place where Corey was supposed to meet, and he didn't show up.
Because, he was killing.
I think he got completely overtaken by evil at this point.
Possible. But, so Lori's at home. She's like, well, I don't have any family left, so I'm going to shoot myself. And I'm like, Lori. So
she calls in a suicide.
Right. Her own suicide.
Yeah. I think she knew the entire time. That's why she did it.
That he was there?
Yeah.
100%. I think she was just doing that for like backup.
Yeah.
Because like cops are going to show up to that call.
Right.
And yeah, you hear a gunshot, and I remember in the theater you were like, what? And then, like, on the floor, you see, like, pumpkin splatter. And
I thought it was brains. I 100% didn't think it was pumpkin.
And then the door opens a little bit more. And then, yeah, Lori's standing there with the gun. And she's like, are you really that stupid? You think I would kill myself? And then, pop, pop, pop. And so...
This is where I'm
confused because... Yeah, he gets shot. And then he falls off, like, the stairway and lands on the ground.
Yeah.
And
this isn't the same house, right?
No, this is Lori's new house.
Okay. I was like, he did this all at the same house.
It is interesting though that he lands in almost the same spot as the kid in the beginning. Yeah. But so then Lori's like, all right, cool, I'm gonna kill you now, and so then, but then you hear like Allison's car pull up. And I'm like, does he have the power? Because then he stabbed himself in the neck, and then he's like, out, like, bleh.
Yeah, no, he goes, if I can't have her, then nobody can. And he stabbed himself in the neck, and then Lori runs over to pull the knife out because this kid just killed himself.
And then I'm like, wait, Lori, I thought you wanted to kill this kid. And then Allison walks in.
It made it look like she did it because he was going to leave.
Yeah, but I thought she didn't care. I thought like her whole thing was like, yeah, I'm going to kill this kid because you're like taking my daughter, and like
she's going to kill this kid because he was trying to kill her,
and he has like the evil in him. But then Allison shows up and she was like, why'd you do that, Grandma? You killed my boyfriend. So then she's super sad. Allison like drives away, I guess. And then Lori's like super sad because she like lost her granddaughter again within like the span of like 10 minutes. And I'm like, Lori.
And we see that a window is open.
Is it a window or a door?
It's like a full length window.
Either way, something's open.
Or a door. One of the two.
And you hear footsteps. And I'm like,
surely Lori heard them too, right?
Yeah. Okay. That's how she knew, because she was like crying in the doorway, and then she like realizes it, and then she like slowly stands up, and she's like looking off to the side, and then yeah, dude, Michael's in the house and takes up, he like grabs the mask, and like Corey's alive for like he's sputtering like his last breath, and then Michael's like, "You're my knockoff. Forget that," and he like snaps his neck. I'm like, cool. I'm glad we spent the entire movie building up this kid just for Michael to kill him. Cool.
Yeah, this piece here, I was like, maybe he does have it because he came back when Michael took the mask
out of his hand. Yeah,
he came back. So
maybe.
So yeah. I feel like if he had more kills,
I don't know.
Maybe he could have.
The sheriff in the remember the first movie who got stabbed in the neck by the doctor and ran over. He lived that.
True.
I don't know.
That's true.
I don't know. Anyways, Corey's dead.
Oh yeah. Super dead.
Final showdown between Michael and Lori. Like an hour and a half too late. Like honestly, like I was just kind of burnt out at this point because I was like this.
Plus, there was literally 40 minutes of ads beforehand. So I was like, it is like 11 o'clock.
True.
Now.
Like it started. It was a 7:30 showtime, and it started at 8. I'm like, okay.
I was trying to watch this movie and then go home.
But this fight is just like too little, too late.
It is a really cool fight, though. I mean, between the two,
guess.
She like knows what he's planning, and she can.
I think the only reason that Lori was able to get the upper hand of Michael in the previous fights. Like, you haven't seen H2O, but in that fight, she's, like, sucker punching him and, like, coming at him from behind in surprise. Like, that's the only way I feel like you could ever, like, realistically take on Michael Myers is, like, you have to cheap shot him.
Well, she does. She, like, stabs him, and she thinks he's dead, and then he, like, sits up.
Well, like, this is, like, a straight-up fight, though. Like, hand-to-hand stuff.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
And, like, he's losing. And I'm like, what?
He has been in a dumpster, what is it, sewer for 2 years?
I don't care. He's Michael Myers, the embodiment of evil. Like, you shouldn't be winning a straight-up fisticuffs fight. She eventually gets the upper hand. She stabs one hand to the table. She stabs the other hand to the table and then drops a fridge on his legs.
This is this dude does not want to die yet.
Right. No, he's squirming and stuff.
Because the way she stabbed his hand, he ripped it off of the knife, so he completely cut his hand in half and grabbed her by the throat.
Well, hold on. Takes off his mask first.
It's all the same.
I thought it would have been cool, like you said, if she would have just cut his head off right there. Yeah. Take the mask off and cut his head off.
Forget taking the mask off. Just start sawing. Carry the mask and the head out as one.
Yeah. So he
So he gets the mask taken off.
Right.
She slits his throat.
And he goes, oh.
And while he's...
Well, hold on. I think he, like, awakens and then, like... Or, yeah, I don't remember how that happened.
She slits his throat first. Then he reawakens, rips his hand off the knife, grabs her by the throat.
Allison's like, no, Grandma.
No,
I'm not going to let you die with him.
So Allison grabs his other hand and holds it down while she then slits both of his wrists.
Yeah, that's right. And they're like, then his little sheriff buddy shows up. Cops show up, and the Texas Ranger shows up.
They start going, this isn't how we do this. This isn't how this works. Tonight.
They strap Michael's body to a car, the roof of a car, and they take it to the scrapyard.
Through town.
They drive it to the scrapyard, and they dump Michael's body in like this compactor that like crushes up metal and stuff like that. And yeah, this is the deadest he's ever been. I think, yeah.
So who said it? Somebody was like, he's dead, right? Not dead enough. And then they throw him in the compactor.
I mean, I think this ending was probably the best like he's ever died. Yeah. I feel like it was a cool way to like kill him off.
I think it was a good disposal.
Yeah.
But
the rest of this movie is just
a lot of it could have been
garbage.
Yeah.
So then what happens then is I wish I could remember his name.
Which one?
The sheriff, her old buddy.
Oh. I don't know, but the entire time in this whole movie, Laurie's had this like unspoken thing with the sheriff.
Sheriff Hawkins, that's his name. He's retired, but yeah, they've had like a thing.
And he was telling her that he was learning Japanese to go see the blossoms.
He's not good at it.
No.
I can't blame him. Japanese sounds hard.
I don't think I could speak it.
But yeah, they had this nice little moment where he gives her some groceries because he's looking after her.
Well, the thing was, during the movie, all he would buy was meat. So he bought her vegetables and put them out front.
They have a nice little talk. Allison leaves Haddonfield. She packs up and leaves. Laurie finishes her book, she's been writing throughout this movie, which I kind of want to buy the book.
You want to bite the book?
She has a line at the end, which is pretty cool. She talks about how evil never quite goes away; it just changes shape. I'm like, ooh, that's kind of a cool line
because like you said,
in the original movie, they didn't call him Michael Myers in the credits. They called him the Shape.
Because evil takes many shapes.
Yes.
They're crazy.
So yeah, that's kind of how it ends, and I'm like, thank God it's over.
Luckily, there wasn't an after credits scene.
Oh my God.
They go,
wow,
Michael will return.
Like, this is really bad. Like, it's not bad as some like other Halloween movies.
It's not like a knockoff bad. It's just not what it could have been done a lot faster bad.
Yes. And a lot of stuff you can cut out. And obviously, this is the big cardinal sin again. Like, Michael Myers should not feel like the B villain in this movie. He should not be like thrown around, and like, he should be the threat. He should be the main concern. And he should be in the movie. Like, he doesn't show up till 40 minutes in.
And then it goes back to Corey. So I thought Corey was going to like carry the mantle and become the new Michael Myers.
And then he gets his neck snapped.
He's dead. Super dead.
There's a lot of problems with this. And like I said, I think you could have done this movie. I know like movies have to do trilogy now because they got to get 3 movies and got to make that money. Yeah. But what they could have did is the 2018 kind of remake / reboot. Then they could have did a sequel to that where they did like, where they had like the story of Laurie and Michael finally like, you know, battling it out, and like they could have did like this disposal thing like they did in this movie and like a sequel. They didn't have to do a third movie. They didn't have
to do Halloween Kills.
No, Halloween Kills is so unnecessary.
Halloween Kills could have been they kill him. That would have been a great movie.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been awesome. But they didn't kill him until this one.
And it's so many mistakes. And like this, I think, like we said, also there's so many plot things, and like we said, like who has powers win. Blah 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 blah. I like when those movies were simple, like in the original, like in the 2018 remake. When you keep these movies like fairly simple, I think it works because like it's, oh, Michael is evil and he's super powerful, can't die, and he's killing people. Perfect. Let's go.
That's cool.
And it's unfortunate because like Jamie Lee Curtis like kind of brought this series back with like the 2018 remake. Like she's brought this series back a couple times with H2O and then the 2018 remake. And just to see it end like this is just it's so mid.
Yeah. So
as a ranking,
what would you rate it?
Like it's not near as bad as like 4, 5, and 6, or like the second Rob Zombie one. Like it's not near as bad as those.
Yeah, I know all of those movies.
I guess like maybe a 5, just because it's mid.
Yeah. I think for my rating, I'd give it a 6 because it's the ending, dude. It's the end. Like they didn't say it, did they? The end. I feel like they could have tied it all together with a giant like somebody drawing it out on the screen. The end.
I feel like they did kind of draw it out because they threw Michael's body into it.
No, I meant like with like a pencil, like somebody handwritten the end. Never mind. Talk about movie things. It doesn't make any sense. But
that's what I'm saying.
I think it was like a good 6. It was an all right movie. I think it was a good ending, but it could have been done faster.
Mm-hmm.
They could have gotten to the end faster.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, that's kind of it.
That's the whole movie. All right. Well, thank you for listening. This has been Silver Screen Shenanigans Podcast, and we hope to see you next time.